What's going on, Ram fam? So today we got a visitor. Okay, she's not coming now. Today we're gonna do things a little bit differently. We just gonna roll right into what we're talking about. So today we're gonna talk about yes.
My uncle was hitting me, and he told me to shut up.
Okay. Everybody on YouTube and Facebook knows now. Okay. So we're gonna roll right into it. We're gonna talk about what it's like to be a military family, and that's one of it. You gotta handle the children, and what it's like to move. So right now, this is the summertime, and this is what we have PCS season, permanent change of station. So today I'm gonna start this video off with my own YouTube video that I recorded of my son. So y'all take a little peek at this video. It isn't my best compilation, but y'all know how I do. So I'm gonna share that screen with you. Y'all can see that it's just right in it. Can you hear it?
I can hear it.
Okay.
No wall open. Get the person down. I thought you said you ain't gonna run to it every day. No. Words change. Can you not hold my door open, please? Oh, look at the airmen over there in their garage.
All right, so you all get the idea. So this is a compilation, and this is what. Oh Lord, where's my stop share button? Did it stop sharing? Is the video still sharing?
Girl, that video didn't even.
Not the video, the screen.
I didn't even see it.
I meant the screen. Okay. Anyway, so y'all get the idea. The idea is this is my son, and he's doing the end of the day national anthem, as we call retreat. Retreat. So this is part of the life as a military family when you reside on the military base. Every day at the end of the duty day, the national anthem plays. So if you reside on base, you're supposed to stop walking, salute, facing the flag, facing the song, whatever. If you're driving in a car, you're supposed to stop driving the car. But we're not gonna say if everybody does that or not. But those are the proper military protocols. So today I have joined with me. I have Brandy, who is an Air Force spouse. I have Sarah, who is a Marine spouse. And if you are watching my video for the first time, you all know that I am an Air Force vet. I served 12 years, and I am an Air Force spouse. My husband has been in for over 20 years right now. He's yet to retire. So, Sarah, we'll let you go first with the sleeping baby, and you can introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I did 14 years in the Air Force. Got out. Married a Marine and had no clue what I married into. I'm gonna say it's more good than bad. The Marines is just they're a close group, so that's something I had to get used to because the Air Force we come and go as we want. We don't really keep a tight knit group unless you're with somebody like for years on a base. Normally, you just come and go and do what you want to do. So I married my husband. We've been married for 7 years, coming in August. Let's see. He retired last year. After 20 years, he did his 20 years and got out, which was my suggestion because I'm like, look, I know you can't do another few years. I can't do another few years of this mess because this is too much. So he was recruiting, so that's how we ended up in Charlotte. And then once we finished in Charlotte, because he ended up at the MEPS in Charlotte, and then once he finished at MEPS, we were like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and figure out where we're gonna stay permanently. So we decided to come out here to Monroe, which is about a 35-minute drive from Charlotte, which is, man, it's very peaceful out here. So that's the reason why we moved all the way out here instead of staying in Charlotte. So that's it. I got out to become a wife and a mom. I didn't become a mom until this year though. So it's been different, but it's been good. It's worth it. So he was a COVID/retirement baby.
Congratulations.
He's very cute.
Yes. Brandy.
Yes. So my name's Brandy. I am an Air Force spouse. My husband's been in for 14 years, and he's with the U.S. Air Force Honor Guard. So we are in D.C. We are currently on vacation across the country and enjoying this lovely heat wave that we are getting in the Pacific Northwest. It is definitely different. It was pretty hot. So just getting used to that. I was expecting to be able to wear a sweater, and I'm finding I'm wearing T-shirts and shorts. Yeah, but it's good to be back home after so long of being away. So it's nice to see some family. But I'm missing DC a little bit. I also do a lot of volunteer work with the military. I'm a key spouse, and my husband kind of went backwards. He was in the reserve first, then guard, then active duty. So went a little bit backwards and stuff, but he plans to stay in as long as he can. So we're in it for the long haul.
All right. The long haul.
Long haul.
All right. So did any of you guys as friends happen to submit any questions to you? Or are there just general questions that you just have been dealing with, this whole time in regards to PCSs?
No. One question is, and I think it just has to do with more of when COVID hit is, are a lot of the bases experiencing lack of housing because since COVID started, a lot of people either stayed in, and now that PCSing has hit, a lot of people are actually having to live off base or they're on a long waiting list. So, is that happening around in other bases? I've heard a lot that has happened. And that's a bit of a stressor, I would say, for PCS season, especially around this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's when people are getting a little stressed about and concerned because they're wondering, sometimes living on base is sometimes for some families, the only option. So having to try and find a house off base, and with the housing market the way that it is, I mean, trying to buy a house right now is just, oh my gosh, you can't. So it's, having to probably find an apartment. And if it's big enough, depending on how big your family is, it's crazy right now.
Yeah. So I'm going to take this hat off now. So before we even get to that, let's talk about the whole process.
Yeah.
So when it's time to PCS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty much where my husband is right now. It's PCS time. It's time for him to finish his tour in Africa and get stationed back here in the States. Hey,
Say, hey.
Hey.
So it's time for him to get his assignment. And for those, who are watching that are new to this, you don't necessarily get to have a say-so on where you're going to live. So you can say where you would like to go, but then for Air Force, we want to speak Air Force, gets to make the final decision on where you're going to be. Right now is the time. Like, this is the time where people are receiving their orders. And don't know how much longer it's going to take for that decision to be made. So we're in the waiting game. So that's stage one, right? Stage one is put in your request of where you want to go. Stage two, what is this not on mute? Waiting game to even receive the orders. So, Brandy, what comes next after you get the orders?
So after you get the orders, then they'll tell you to go to a class and you'll discuss everything from what type of PCSd you want to do. So do you want to do a ditty move, which that'll be you move your stuff yourself, or do you want a contractor to come in and move your stuff? If you move your stuff yourself, then once you get to your next base, you will give your orders and the receipts on how much everything costs, and then you'll get reimbursed. So families usually try to decide, depending on how much stuff they have, should they do a ditty move or should they have a contractor move their stuff, and depending on how far. So that's, I would say, at least for us, that was the next process when we moved, which we did that the first base, we did a ditty move, but then the second base that we're at now, we had the military move us.
Did you say what a ditty move is?
A ditty move is when you move stuff yourself. Okay. So that's where you just let them know that you're going to go and purchase the U-Haul. If you need a trailer for a car, you get all the paperwork you have to go to a weigh station to weigh all of your stuff after you load everything up. Save all that. Then when you get to the base, you hand in all the paperwork, your orders, and then they reimburse you the how much it costs versus just the military moving your stuff for you, and you just don't get that money.
Right. So up to this point so far, Sarah, is it any different for the Marines?
Same process. The Marines are a little slow with their paperwork. Let's just say that. I'm from, in the Air Force, I'm so used to things being like boom, boom, boom. Like, like the Marines is like, it can get a little slow. But we did a ditty move, and we did, the regular process of, hiring the contractors and stuff like this. So when we got here, we did the contractor, and then when we were moving around from city to city, we did our own ditty move. So, it's just, the process is a little bit, you got to go through a few more levels than you would in the Air Force. But it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
You weigh your stuff and take the receipts back and get your reimbursement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in our 20 plus years, we have Georgia, North Carolina Georgia, Missouri, North Carolina, Virginia. Here. We have about 6 or 7 PCSs under our belt. Ooh. And then if you include my husband coming here, plus the departure order, the ordered departure of me and the children, technically those are separate. So those of you who are new to my channel and my family situation, so we PCSed from Switzerland to Burkina Faso, Africa. Then there's an ordered departure for just myself and the children. Okay. So, and after 6 months was up, me and the children have now officially PCSed to Bowling Air Force Base. That's a separate, totally different funds, separate orders, all of that, because my husband is still there. So then my husband still has to PCS with us or wherever the Air Force decides that they're going to send him. So even with that, so we can say 7 or 8 PCSs under our belt in 20 years. And of course, so the process is still going to be the same. You know, we had to do what we had to do to get into this house. And hopefully this is where we'll remain and not have to go somewhere else. So with your 7 years of being married to a Marine, how many PCSs do y'all have under your belt?
1 PCS, but like 4 moves.
Mm-hmm.
So once we got here, once I got out, he moved from his spot that he had to a house, and then we moved from that house to another house, and then we moved out here. So four times in the same state, we moved around. But one big PCS, because I had to PCS from Japan. He PCS from Japan before I got to the States. So
right.
Yeah.
And Randy, how many y'all have under your belt?
We have 2, but that's just because my husband's in the reserve and guard, but he moved from the reserve from Minneapolis to the guard at Fairchild in Washington. So he had 1 move there, but it really wasn't, I think they're considered a PCS. You just moved on your own. So, but for active duty, we have 2 so far.
Okay. So we got our Army and Navy representatives are just having just a little bit of complications getting on. Okay, so yeah, we talked about the beginning parts of the processes. So once you start to get your location all figured out on where you're gonna be, next is like actually getting into the house.
Yeah.
So like you said, you can decide that if you're going to live on base or if you're going to live into town. Lots of people. Why does it sound like rain? It's raining out there now.
Is it raining?
We finally got that storm from the Midwest.
Bring it over here. We need it in the Northwest right now.
So people still have those misconceptions that we talked about before, right? That it's best to live on base. Okay, so
yeah.
What is you guys' processes with making the decision whether you want to live on base or if you want to live into town? What considerations do you take?
For us, it depends on my husband's job. So would he have to, like the time frame, like, well, how early does he have to be at work? How late will he be? Would he have to work on weekends? I know when we were off at Air Force Base in Nebraska, they have off-base housing. And we actually lived off the base in their housing there. So it felt like we were more in town. He was able to afford where we could actually live a little bit further. With his job now, he sometimes has to show up to work depending on what their job is, 3, 4 a.m. Sometimes. So living on base for us is the best option. Because in DC, the traffic and stuff, some people can take a little bit longer. They're willing to drive 30 to 45 minutes. But for us specifically, it just worked better. So I think the main point is, you know, what is he going to be doing in his job and how long will it take for him to get to work? So that's what we consider.
Yep. Sarah?
I'd say the same, because even though we don't live anywhere near base, we still consider the distance and what time he'd have to be there. And you know, MEPS opens at like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It could, even living outside of Charlotte where we were living at, he'd have to drive that distance. We just decided to move out here because he knew he was retiring in a few months, so it didn't matter at that point. But before, we tried to live close to the MEPS or wherever he was recruiting out of, what station he was recruiting out of.
Yeah.
because they literally had to be there like 5, 6 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So that would mean a wake up time of like 4.
Yeah. And then you can't go back to sleep.
No.
I could never.
And I'm the civilian, so I work from home. I've been working from home since I got out of the military. My husband has been like, "You didn't became a dirt bag." I'm like, "What?" I'm sorry, I'm a dirt bag. I'm dirt bagging it up every day.
We're gonna welcome in our Army wife.
And I actually got to get going.
Yes, ma'am.
So I will talk to you ladies later.
Thank you, Brandy.
Bye. I'll see you later.
To your family member on the wedding.
Okay.
Okay, let me see. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk to Jill. Jill, I don't know. I'm gonna see if this link, if it works. I don't know if you can click on that. So just try that. I don't know. Okay, so Sabrina, you gotta put Army next to your name for the new viewers who don't know that you are Army representative. Okay, so yeah, considering work hours, that's definitely one thing that we always do. Work hours, the distance of it, as well as I know a lot of people, they want to spend time considering if they want to be around other military people as well. They take that into consideration. Definitely this time, for sure, I took into consideration the fact that the situation that we were in, I needed to be on base. I needed to be in the safety of military. I needed to be right where if I needed some assistance because my husband's not here, I know that I'm gonna be able to get it quickly without having to try to reach out, get to know people, go through all of that, trying to get to know your neighbors type stuff. Yeah. Whereas when you live on base, you can get help relatively quick.
Instantly.
And the unit, having the finance people, all these official people that you have to talk to, it's easier when you live on base. So Sabrina, welcome. Don't forget to put Army next to your name for viewers who come in later. So we were talking about once you actually get your PCS orders and you're in the process of PCSing, what do you do when you're considering where you want to live, whether it's on base or off base?
For us, we usually pick on base because it's everything is closer, and we also consider what the price is around base, like as far as is it better for us to live on base because we get the BAH, or can we live off base and live under BAH and save a little? I know that was a big thing for us because we lived at Polk. Everything around Post was BAH and more, but we got a smaller space. On base, we get a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, no matter what, no matter how much our BAH is. So that's a big thing for us. And also how long it takes them to get to work, and what's closer, the grocery store, everything. At Polk, everything was literally within 5 minutes of where we needed to be.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing for us.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to welcome in our Navy representative. What is going on?
Hi.
So I do actually got to back up because look, I'm so used to Sabrina being on my panel. Sabrina, for anybody who is viewing my channel for the first time, can you please introduce yourself? And we said how long your spouse has been in the military and how many PCSs you guys have under your belt. And then Laura, if you would do the same.
Okay, I'm Sabrina. My husband's in the Army for 14 years now. And we were married for 15 years. We have PCS 3 times.
Okay.
3. Yeah.
3 times, not bad. And Aurora.
I was in the Navy for 5 years, and I PCS twice.
2 times. All righty. And you're going to leave out the fact that you were also a Navy spouse.
I was, yes, I was a Navy spouse and active duty at the same time. So kind of different. Yeah, it was kind of different. We were dual military, and I was the one that got deployed, not him. And we had a child. So I went on deployment when she was about 7 months. And while I was deployed, they came out with a new regulation that said that new mothers had 12 months with their babies. So I had just missed that.
Oh,
But yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah, it does. Man, I hate when they come up with something like right after you.
I would have been so sick.
They famous. They famous for it. I'm like, can I go home? No, you're here now.
Yeah.
So what you ladies missed, we talked about you guys made it right into where we got to talking about actually, Jill, it's your turn now to talk about once you actually have gotten your orders and all of that right there, how do you make the choice to whether you want to live on base or off base?
Well, for me, because we were both dual military, it was more lucrative to live off base. Because we both got BAH. One gets more than the other. The one that's higher ranking is allotted more anyway. And then like I would get like a fraction of what I would have gotten if I didn't have a spouse already receiving BAH. So it's like you get like BAH and a half instead of like 2 BAH allowances.
Right. So for people who don't even know what BAH is, what is BAH? Do you even remember?
It's rent money. That's what it is.
Yeah, basic allowance for housing. That's the money that they give us to help us pay the rent. So with that being said, yes, when you decide to live off base, it helps you pay the rent. But if you live on base, you're not getting any of that money. Like,
yeah, you
they give you based upon your rank, that's what you pay. So it doesn't matter how many bedrooms, bathrooms, whatever you get, they're taking all that BAH from you. So it no longer means anything if you decide to live on base, which kind of sucks, especially when you're old school. When you came in a long time ago and you're used to putting some of that money in your pocket.
When me and my ex-husband had separated, right? Then we were still married, right? But we were separated. So like all the paperwork still the same. All of the money was still the same. It was just now separate. And so I opted out to move on base and do, on base housing. And that way, like I didn't have to downgrade my living situation. Like we still maintained the same kind of, lifestyle, if you will, but just on base. And it was just a lot better for me. It was more convenient. It was cheaper than me, actually having to pay for rent and all that stuff. Like, so I just moved out of the house that we had and came on base, and everything was great. Yeah.
So we talked about a long time ago, me and Sabrina were talking about people think, because we're military and because we live on base, we're rich and all this other stuff. And as I was explaining to Sarah, like towards the end of the last panel that we did, an issue was brought up dealing with PCSs, specifically about like your household goods and how many times you have to pack that stuff up. So the first broad general question, you said you had PCS how many times, or once or twice?
Twice.
Okay. Have any of you ever had to actually deal with your household goods being lost or broken?
Yes.
So we're gonna let Navy go first. How do they handle that, and how quickly if at all, do you get your stuff replaced?
I never got anything replaced, and I was never reimbursed because it's like hard to prove what you had and allegedly lost.
Okay.
So I didn't get anything.
So what do y'all do when you move? Like what does you guys' process look like? So when you move and then you get to the other end, what do y'all do? Do y'all not have paperwork, or like what do y'all do?
Are you out? Oh, with us now.
I was talking to Aurora, but I guess she put me on.
I didn't hear nothing.
English.
It was lagging really bad.
Huh?
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Because I can't hear y'all.
No, I hear you now when you move your lips.
I can see your hair.
Can you get in? Let me go outside. Maybe that'll be better.
Okay. While she answering, go ahead, Sabrina.
With us, we did I guess it depends on if you do a Diddy move versus the Army move. When the Army moved us, they came in and literally make a list of everything we have. And on the boxes they write what's in the boxes and everything. And when they come, they drop it off, and we have to check it as they bringing it in. And we have up till, I think they gave us 90 days this time to report anything broken or lost. And if it is broken or lost, or it's something like we couldn't put our bed together because they lost the screws, they will replace the entire bed, or TV's broken, anything. And I think it took, when we moved from Fort Bragg to Fort Polk, it took them, I want to say within the first 30 days of us reporting it, that we got refunded for the amount that they thought it was worth, I guess.
Yeah.
So you have TV you spend $3,000 on, they like, well, it's worth $15 now, so we're gonna get $1,500.
Depreciation.
Like, I guess I'll take it, but that's not what it was worth. So yeah, that's what they did this time. And they didn't take us long to get our stuff here in Ohio. We literally got here before they did, and they delivered the same day. But moving from Bragg to Polk, it took them 2 weeks. So our stuff was in 2 weeks, and was loaded and unloaded and loaded back and brought it to us. So it went through a lot. But yeah, it didn't take too long for them to reimburse us what they wanted to give us.
Sarah, the Marines, how they take care of y'all?
It was pretty quick. I say about what I would do is, because I learned this when I was in the Air Force, I would take pictures of everything, and I still had some receipts. So if any of our stuff came up, which never happened, but I had a list in an Excel spreadsheet. You already know. Excel spreadsheet, anything of higher value above a certain amount. I can't remember what the amount I decided to start, recording everything, but we never had anything missing or broken, thank God. But when we moved, most of our money would get to us within probably about a month, maybe. Not as quick as the Air Force, but hey, it got to us, and we never had anything broken or missing. So I was just happy about that. So, especially when I moved from Japan, because I knew I was gonna be like, I just knew I was gonna be missing some stuff or broken, some stuff broken. But I mean, everything came in good shape. I didn't have anything, no complaints.
I saw somebody's post of a shrunk that they had, and it was like, one of a kind shrunk. I think, was that cheese? Of a shrunk that they had, and it was broken. And it's like, they definitely, no matter what they pay, it's not going to be the value. It's so not going to be the value of
Especially
that.
if it's anything that you got from, like, a deployment or somewhere you went, and it's just like there's no way they can make the value of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't compensate, the sentiment.
Yeah.
No, sentimental value, definitely.
With us, if there was something that was really important to us that we were scared they might break or lose, we'll put it in the car or get like the U-Haul trailer and throw it in the no, it's gonna come with me.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
like, that's coming with me just in case. So
every time.
We do.
Yep.
See, my first PCS, I did a Diddy move, right? And my second PCS was when I got out. And the only thing I was missing was my rims.
Rims.
I be
Because they packed that car, huh?
I was hurt. I was hurt with them, bro. I love them rims. But I don't think I put it on my list. It was like a last minute decision to take them off the car because I was traveling from California to Kansas, right? And so I had a couple friends coming with me, and I wanted to make sure that, obviously safety first. And so I looked at like the weight capacity for the tires that I had, and it would have been safer just to put the stock tires back on. And so that's what I did, because I had 2 other passengers, and then I had my car loaded up with a whole bunch of stuff. And so I said, well, it'll be better if I just, put my stock tires back on, and I did. And I didn't put the rims on the list, and they got me.
Yeah. We mentioned weighing the cars and stuff like that. We mentioned that before. So for people out there who don't know and don't understand, when you do the do-it-yourself move, and if you've been driving along the highway and you never pay attention to the signs that say weigh station, that
right,
that's for the truckers. But when you're military and you're moving, you may have to go off to the side, or sometimes you have to just go to an official weigh station, which probably is nowhere in the travels of where you're going. And you have to weigh your car. You have to weigh your car empty, and you have to weigh your car full. So you have to figure out what's the best for you. I'm not going to try to throw no tips out there because I'm not trying to get nobody in trouble. You know how you get your money's worth, but you have to weigh your car empty and weigh your car full. So like Jill Aurora was saying, with the tires, and you going along the highway and all of that. So again, that's one of those things that are kind of stressful. What do you do? So let's kind of talk about the house. When you do live on base and you're moving out of the house, is that a stressful thing or not?
It wasn't for me because I didn't have any damages in my house, and I just paid for them to clean it. So I was done.
And this was when you were separated or married?
We were separated but still married.
Yeah, so you was living that bachelorette life. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to keep the house clean. Yeah. Sarah, is it stressful trying to move out?
Yes, because depending on if you're downsizing from a big house to a small house, yes, because you got to start making decisions on what's going and what's going to need to be gotten rid of or thrown away. Yeah. If you're going from a 5-bedroom or something like that down to maybe a 3 or a 2, some decisions got to be made.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to because I know we got rid of 1 or 2 rooms of furniture.
Oh.
Yeah, it sucks. And then down the line we ended up getting more furniture. Yeah.
It's because we rich.
Yeah, not really, but yeah. Not really. Hey, I'm good for a sale. I know how to look for sales now. Yep.
Sabrina looked like she need to stay on mute.
I'm already hiding in the bathroom. They found me. For us, it's not so much as it was stressful moving out. It only depends on the person who's clearing you out of the state. Because something that could have been there when you first got there, they be like, "Oh no, that wasn't," and you be responsible for it. You have some people like don't care. It's like, all right, that's fine. Like moving from Polk, they had us pay like if you put a stud in the wall or something, or it's like a hole, not a hole, but like a, you know what I'm trying to say. They charge you $25. Or if you have a small stain in a carpet that can easily come up, if you don't get it up before they come, they charge you $25 for that. So it's just the little things that add up. You're like, oh, this is perfect. Got somebody clean out, and they were like, I don't know, what about this, and then before you know it, you owe them $1,300, and you like, so. And again, it depends on the person because one came and did a walk. It's like, oh no, you guys will be fine. And then the other person came. She's like, no, what about this and this and this? And it smells like an animal here. We don't even have an animal at that point. She's like, yeah, we can do this. And it's like,
yeah.
But see, that's how they get you too. Because like, if they don't replace the carpet after each tenant, then they'll charge you for somebody else's mess.
Yep.
So it's like, and they not gonna tell you if the previous tenant had pets. They're not gonna tell you that. They're gonna charge you.
And before I left, started this that I didn't know they did. They, you know how they look at the carpet? They start pulling the carpet up and looking at the pad of it. The pad is stained. They will charge you for that, even though they can't see it.
Yeah.
So, yep. I'm like, you don't even know the last time you pulled it up. The two people before me could have left it. So yep, that's what they're doing now.
Yeah, it's ridiculousness. So when you guys out there think that military have it so good and it's so easy and all you have to do is live on base and you got it made and you're rich and all of that, like it's not true, and it comes with quite the headache. So, in addition to what they're saying, or to like be a little bit more specific, on what they're saying. 'Cause like I said, we've got like 7 or 8 of these PCSs under our belt, Yeah, it's like Sabrina saying, they charge you all of this money. So for instance, the house that we're in right now, the simple white blinds, they weren't all that great when I moved into this house. So I went through, just like Sarah said, I didn't make a spreadsheet, but I was very tedious. They give you a checklist when you move into your house, and I went through that I went through it meticulously, and I wrote down how bad the blinds are. And I can't show you, but you guys, you can see Sarah and Sabrina's window, but they're supposed to easily go up and go down. I wrote that down. So I'm calling the housing maintenance because they need to be replaced.
Yeah.
Before we move out of this house, they need to be replaced already.
Right.
Okay, we got kids. Okay, so when you have normal wear and tear, they won't charge you. Who determines what's normal wear and tear when you have a house full of kids? But I know that my kids tore up these blinds. They tore them up. There's a hole in the blinds. So I call housing maintenance. There's $25 to replace one thing of blinds. You're gonna charge me $25 for this. So of course, like Sabrina said, it depends on who you get. The lady told me, she said, I wouldn't put, actually, because what I was doing was putting in a work order. Because what we think as tenants, you typically think that you put in a work order and it's free. So she said, no, I just want to let you know that you'll be charged $25 for that. So she's like, I would recommend you just go on over to Lowe's or wherever and just go buy some blinds that are $10. So
$7.
We don't necessarily have it like all that great. So do I go spend $10 plus putting in the labor and all of that to replace these blinds, or do I just spend the $25 each? You know what I'm saying? Each blind. Where do you get? Where do you get? And as stated. So just to clarify, like It's not that
Right.
great. Each
And
and
see, in the
every
civilian sector, you know what I'm saying? Like I live in an apartment now, and my blinds, the string snapped, right? So it was like one side of them was like hanging down a little bit, but my blinds was all straight. Like there was no damage to the blinds. It just that string, just deteriorated and it snapped. And so I had them come and replace my blinds. I had a little hole by the front door where the lock had like made it look a hole size of a quarter because of where the lock was hitting the wall. I had like a little piece of my counter like needed to be re-glued so that it would like be set. And all that stuff that I had replaced and fixed, they didn't charge me nothing. And they said this is normal wear and tear. But in the military, they're gonna charge you for every little thing, like they don't get a budget for it.
Right.
Yep.
And I do think so. One day, I really wish that I had somebody from CE who could be on, because
They would know.
swear that things were better, but of course I wasn't the actual CE person, but I swear that it was somewhat better when CE was taking care of housing than now today that is privatized. That's only me looking in as an admin. I'm in the staff meetings, listening to the commander and taking notes of how many work orders there are, how long did it take to fix it, and what's the budget like. But now we got it privatized, and these people just come in and they just throwing paint on mold instead of actually fixing it. And we got families getting really, really sick because there's mold.
I heard about that.
Girl, I had the articles saved. I had like all these things saved to pull up to talk about, but of course, we ain't got that kind of time. But yeah, girl, and then mold growing all in your house, growing in your tub, like it's ridiculous. So
and a lot of the homes had lead paint.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just madness. Yeah, what else about PCSing? Oh, so another thing that we had talked about is you mentioned you having to downsize, having to get rid of things. So here's an issue is that we have to often get rid of stuff that you don't necessarily want to get rid of. And you have to do that over and over again. And so as was mentioned in the last panel, this stuff includes food.
Yeah.
How many times have we spent money on food?
To have to buy it again.
And just to have to buy it again. You got to clear out this house. They don't want anything in this house, on base or off base. Because we've all moved out of a house. You can't leave that stuff behind. And the fact that sometimes you don't get the orders when you're expecting to get the orders, they could just come at the drop of a dime. And now you gotta get rid of this couch, this bed, this $300 worth of groceries that you just bought. And then you may or may not have to go stay in a hotel.
Right.
Which there's no food at this hotel. So what you gonna do now?
That adds up, especially if you have kids moving with you.
Oh yeah, they eat up everything.
Yes. 5 of them, 2 preteens. They eat up everything.
Yes. So how do y'all feel about how do you feel about like that kind of stuff? The amounts of food that you've had to waste and household items that you've had to try to get rid of. You may have wanted to sell it, but you couldn't, so you just had to give it away or just put it at the end of the street or whatever.
Yeah, I got to the point. It gets to the point where you're trying to get everything where it needs to be, and then it gets to the point where you just literally you have a curve alert. It's like we put everything out. Come get it. Don't ask me questions. It needs to be gone by morning.
Yeah.
I never lost food because the closer we get, the less I buy. But yeah, we've gotten rid of a lot.
You can eat all.
Caleb said something smart. Aurora and Sarah.
Yeah, like even when I was single, like the amount of like I'm a perfume hoarder. I used to be a makeup hoarder. Like the amount of stuff I would have to just give away or like throw away and then repurchase it later. I don't want to even start counting. I get sick.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can't put that stuff in the household goods. So food, you can't put that in the household goods.
Oh.
You got to get rid of it. So, and then you have to buy it again. Like if you have a lot of like seasonings and stuff, I've thrown that I'm probably thousands of dollars of seasonings alone in the trash to have to go back and buy it again. Cause I'm a cook. I've always cooked, so I just be, what, eventually you just get over it. You're just like, whatever. You get used to it, but
no, you don't get used to it.
Well,
I just remember these things. I know.
It comes with the territory, so.
No, because see, last time we lived here, and this is the thing too. So people who think that like we just have it so good, like it's frustrating. Mm-hmm. So last time we lived here in DC, this is the last time we lived in the States. We knew we were going over to Switzerland. We knew that we weren't going to have to maintain our home or, none of that stuff. We weren't going to have to do that. And we knew in our minds where we were going to go after Switzerland. So what did we do? This is what we're talking about right now. We got rid of our barbecue grill. We got rid of our lawnmower, our weed eater, our water hose, all of those things to go to Switzerland. Right? It's good. Life's good.
That stuff is expensive.
Yeah, girl. Life's good. Go to Africa. And now what? I'm back.
You right back
in DC.
I'm right back here. Like that was not a part of the plan. I was supposed to be in Africa, but I'm back here. I need a lawnmower, a barbecue grill, a water hose, all this stuff. Why? Because we have to maintain our own yard. Like at least the backyard. You got to maintain the backyard. So
and see, when I was in base housing, we didn't have to do that.
Yeah, we didn't either.
They had folks that come and did the landscaping.
Now they do the front yard, but you got to do the back because it's it's in the gate. So y'all's was the backyard or whatever isn't inside the gate.
If it's inside the gate, if it's locked, they can't unlock it or anything and come in. But if they took care of everything.
Yeah.
As long as you picked up the base and stuff and there was no toys, they come in and do everything.
Yep. And see, my backyard was across the, I don't know, like a sidewalk. It was like right beside. Basically, my backyard was like a little park, and so like I didn't have no backyard gate. It was just open, and but yeah, they maintained all of that.
Nope. So that's why I wanted each branch to be represented, because no, that's not how Air Force do. No, because even when your yard is not fenced in, and of course it may not be current, but I'm sure that it is. I could still be wrong, but even when it's not fenced in, they have a divider, because our one home in Missouri, it wasn't fenced in, but they told us up until this part right here is your responsibility. So we had to cut the grass up until a certain point. And I know there's some houses around here that don't have a fenced in yard, but again, the contractors, they only come in and they only cut, certain areas around here. So, yeah, I don't know. Key difference in the branches. That's why DOD as a whole, there are some things that should just be the same across each branch. And
I think that it kind of varies by the duty station, not only by the branch, but like I think some duty stations do more than others.
That's
Yeah.
true. Like at Brad, we didn't have a gate. If we wanted a gate, we would have to pay for it and then pay monthly payments on it. And when you move, you had to get it removed. So, but when we go to polar bear, we have to be on a full fenced in area. So it's just no more.
But see, that's also under concern or whatever under a contractor maintaining a home. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm pretty sure that things were better and different when CE was maintaining when CE was maintaining housing. Whoever in CE out here in this world that's watching this, they probably like, no. I don't know.
Yeah.
When CE used to come in and fix your electricity and change your lights and all of that, now you got to go to the self-help store and whatever and pay for it. And I don't know, but so ladies, since we didn't have any submitted questions, I think that, I mean, I can go on and on about PCSing and enlisting and, you know, whatever. If there's someone who is watching this video, who is considering entering into your branch that you're representing tonight, or they may have already enlisted, because this is also the time of enlistments. Do you have any words of advice or encouragement before they get started? I guess I'll go first. If you are considering going into the Air Force, I would definitely encourage you to ensure that you already have a degree and come in as an officer so that you can be in charge of people and not be enlisted. However, not everyone has already gone to college or even want to go to college. So just make sure that you choose a career that is long lasting on the outside as well. A lot of people come in thinking that they're going to go to school while they're in. That may not be the case. Also, of course, I don't know what it's like today when you enter. So if you do not already have a guaranteed job, try to have a guaranteed job when you come in, and don't just come in open unless you are that type of person who has an open mind, because you may find yourself being a cop in the middle of, you know, a snowstorm. And working 24-hour shifts, you know, doing something like I love you, security forces, because I couldn't do it. But that's just something that, you know, it takes a special somebody to be security forces. I'm sure that there's something else that I could think of, but right now those are the key details. Also, just don't give up. Again, I don't know what basic training is like these days, but it's
easy.
Just temporary. It's temporary. Just know that, like, they can't hurt you, okay? And so whatever they're doing to tear you down is temporary, to just kind of build you up and make you one team. That's it. So that's my Air Force advice. Sarah, for the Marines.
My biggest advice as a prior Air Force airman, travel. First opportunity you get to leave the United States, do it.
Yes.
You will not regret it. You'll see a totally different world than what you would see here in the United States.
Yes.
And everything isn't so black and white as it is here. You know, just travel. Don't enlist to stay in America. It makes no sense.
I learned that.
For real.
But that's my biggest piece of advice to anybody enlisting in any branch. Yep.
Aurora.
Oh man, I would definitely piggyback off of what you and Sarah said. Definitely go overseas as often as you can, stay as long as you can. Not only for, you know, just the experience, but for the clarification firsthand of what the world is really like, and not the
not seeing the world through, the American binoculars. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're kind of told what these other countries are like, and what to expect, and like none of that is true. I had like a complete shock when I was in the Middle East, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. The people were so friendly. Um, when I was in Asia, their technology was far more advanced than ours.
Especially
in the
Japan.
States. Right. It's just it was literally like a whole nother world.
Yep.
And it's good for Americans to get out of America. I swear it is. We have a lot of misconceptions, a lot of misinformation, a lot of prejudices about other people and their cultures, and it's really just indescribable. You have to go see it and live it yourself. Definitely, Tawana, what you said about having a job that transfers well as a civilian. For instance, I was aviation ordnance, and for people that don't know what that is, I put bombs on planes, basically. I can't do that out here. I can't do that out here for real. You know what I'm saying? Unless I'm working for like Lockheed Martin or, L3 or one of those contractors, stuff like that. Like, and see, I live in a community where we don't have those kinds of companies. We don't. So I'm not going to say that my experience in the military was worthless. Absolutely not. But I wish I had chosen a different job, at least in some point, because I really did love my rate. Your rate is your job in the Navy. I did love it. It was like a fraternity, and I loved it. But before I got out, I wish I had done something, more maybe with IT or some kind of like administration, an admin job, or even an electrical job, or a mechanic or something like that, or along those lines would have served me better as a civilian. But yeah, definitely, like, if you're interested in joining, do it. Don't wait. Do not wait. The longer you wait, the harder it is. Just go ahead on and go.
Yeah.
Embrace it.
Wi-Fi hers.
And what they say, embrace the suck. Like, there's gonna be hard days. That's inevitable, but you're gonna have hard days being a civilian too. So military gets the most paid holidays. We get a lot of time off. We get the 30 days leave. You ain't got to worry about that. Vacation time. If you have a family emergency, all you got to do is, submit a request to go tend to your family or whatever. And 9 times out of 10, if you doing what you're supposed to do at work, they're going to let you go. They're going to look out for you. That was my experience anyway. The Navy took care of me. The Navy looked out for me, and I can say that all of my needs were met. But flip side, I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is probably pretty common. I had a lot of trouble in my personal life, and I did not handle that well. I wish I had gone to counseling and gotten some kind of mentorship with someone who could help me through that difficult time in my life. I had 2 little kids, separated from my first husband. It was hard. I didn't know what I was doing. I was really young. I was like, 23? It was hard, and I didn't know how to balance it. And I wish that I had taken advantage of the resources that the military provides while you're in, because when that happened, I was coming up on the end of my enlistment, and it was just so hard. I was like, yeah, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Like, and I wish that I had stayed in. I wish that I had, really made it a career like I had planned to. That was my intention from the very beginning. I wanted to do 20 years. Like, I knew I wanted to do that, but I let my hardship distract me from what I really wanted and what my goal was. But yeah, I should have taken advantage of those resources and I didn't. But yeah, if you're thinking about joining, go in head first. You know, do your research on what to expect. Do your research on what kind of jobs that you might be interested in. Because they have a lot of jobs that they don't talk about. Like you could be like, you know, a photographer, or you could be like a news reporter, like being a PR. They have so many jobs that you wouldn't think of, and they're really, really cool. Like really cool jobs. They even have like the sports programs where like you're an athlete. Like they have boxing and they have, you know, basketball teams, and they got all kind of stuff. They got beauty pageants. I mean, they got everything. They got everything, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and I think that there is something for everybody in the military. I always encourage young people to join, even if you only do, you know, 3 years, but do it though. And on top of that, you know, I am now a disabled veteran, and I'm getting, you know, a disability check that helps me like significantly with finances. Because of my condition, it's hard for me to work certain jobs, or, you know, prolonged hours, or in certain kind of environments. Like it's some stuff just really triggers me, and I'll walk out. So definitely get linked up with the VA once you're out. And just and when it comes to that time where it's time for you to get out, whether you're retiring or you're just ending your enlistment, set yourself up for the future. Do everything that you can do for yourself to prepare for civilian life, because the more you know, the more helpful it is. And yeah, just take advantage of those resources.
Quick piggyback off of that. Navy specific. I was talking to a Navy wife, and so the stuff that you're talking about, she was mentioning about how difficult it is to be out on the ship if you're not a person who can handle being around a lot of people, if you're a person who's claustrophobic and stuff like that. So if you can just mention real quickly, you know, the realities of being a Navy person, being a sailor, and life on the ship, and the ratio of men to women on the ship. How, whether, you know, if that's a stereotype is true or false.
Oh, it's definitely true. There's always going to be more men in the military than women, from my experience. That's what I've seen. It's an adjustment. It's an adjustment. The living quarters are, you know, crammed. There's usually about 80 people to a berthing, and berthings aren't very big. I would say like a berthing might be, I don't know, maybe like 1,500 square feet. So yeah, there's an adjustment. Being on the ship, you are going to feel confined. I worked on the flight deck, so I was outside all day. It was hot. It was 150 degrees. You know, I was sweating all the time. I mean, I spent 6 months soaking wet. I swear, like it was hot. And you stink, and you know, you just get used to being filthy. You know, you can't go shower when you want to shower. Most of the times, like when I first got on the ship, I wanted to shower before I went to chow, because like I'm nasty and I don't want to eat nasty. Like I got out the shower, chow was over, and I was like, oh, so this is what it is then. Like, go eat. You got to go eat dirty, and that was just the way it was. But everybody's dirty, so I guess you kind of get used to it.
Dang. All right, we wait a few seconds.
And she's right. My brother was Navy. He pretty much, she's right.
Yeah, I mean that's what the spouse was telling me too. So you know.
My brother was in the Navy for 4 years.
All right, there we go. She back. Okay.
Yeah, like yeah, being on a ship is different. It's different. You know, you can't go take a walk. You can't escape it. You know, you having a bad day, you better take a nap because can't go nowhere. It was something to get used to. It stank real bad, like really bad. Just the different smells, the different chemicals, the just everything. It smelled. So it was definitely an adjustment, but you know, after you adjust, you know, you kind of just learn that way of life and you get used to a lot of things, a lot of the discomforts, you get used to it. And then before you know it, it's port call. And that is, you know, those experiences alone is worth the hardship.
Thank you. Thank you much. All right, Sabrina, any advice for those who are thinking about or have already signed up to join the Army?
I'm sorry.
Don't marry a recruiter.
Be responsible, honestly, with my husband being in so long and also having jokes like younger soldiers that come in. Be responsible because, man, the decisions that they make is we would make. I mean, I married him at 18 and, you know, so we make dumb decisions. Also, just be relaxed about it, I guess. Don't look at it as a job. You join for a job. You actually can make this a family because I swear I'm like closer to the family I created in the military versus my actual family.
Yep.
That's pretty much all I have to say.
All right. Thank you, ladies. So I will end with my question of the day, the panel question. So if we were having breakfast at your house, are you serving us pancakes or are you serving waffles?
As long as the mimosas are included, you can have them.
Yeah, what? I hear what she said. Sabrina, this girl, she had me. What'd you say?
I said, as long as the mimosas are included, we can have either one you want.
You was a nut. You so silly. Sarah?
I would actually like making pancakes, but I prefer waffles.
Okay. All right. Trying to change it to some mimosas. Okay, Aurora.
I'm gonna be difficult and say French toast.
Of course you would be. That is so not an option. That
French toast
not
is
an option.
No, I love waffles. I really do, but I don't have a really good waffle maker. Like I compare all the waffles to Roscoe's. So if they ain't Roscoe's, then I ain't really too crazy about it. So I'm gonna go with the pancakes.
Okay, then. I had this song picked out that I was gonna play, but yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead with my usual. And so I thank y'all for joining me. Zendaya don't want to make up her mind if she want to come in or not. She just keep talking. And I'm gonna go ahead and let that outro play. Y'all already know the deal. Thank y'all Ram fam for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all on another one. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode.
Bye, ladies.
Like to thank my guests for joining me, or simply thank you for watching the pre-recorded episode. No matter what your birth order is, how you self-identify, and whether you like pancakes or waffles. If this is the first time you're hearing it today, I want you to know that you are loved. You were put here for a purpose that only you can fulfill. Until next time, take care of yourself. Be sure that you like and share the videos subscribe to the channel, and hit that notifications bell. This is Real Ram out.